Good evening and good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining Einstein Day. My name is Libin Gu. I'm the head of academic relations at Swissnex in China, Science Consulate of Switzerland in China. Today, we are very honored to have high-level university representatives as well as accomplished alumni from 5 top Swiss public universities to introduce their academic and research strengths and share first-hand information about study programs and the benefits of studying in Switzerland. Before we start, I would like to remind you that if you have any question, please use the Q&A function in the Zoom interface. You can type in the questions at any time during the webinar, and we will answer them in the Q&A session. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Danli Zhou, CEO ad interim of Swissnex in China, to give introductory remarks. Danli, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Libin. Good evening in China and good morning in Switzerland. A warm welcome to Einstein Day. My name is Danli Zhou. I'm the acting CEO of Swissnex in China, the Science Consulate of Switzerland in China. First, I would like to share with you a brief overview of Switzerland and introduce the Swiss excellence in education, research, and innovation. Switzerland is a landlocked country at the heart of Europe, bordering Austria, France, Germany, Italy, and Liechtenstein. There are 4 official languages: German, French, Italian, and Romansh. The total population is around 1/3 that of Shanghai, and the land area would fit 230 times inside that of China's. Switzerland, of course, is famous for many things: the nature, beautiful sceneries, cheese, chocolate, watches, Swiss Army knife, and of course, Roger Federer. But there is also much more to Switzerland. It is home to many international companies and chosen as the base of many international organizations, such as the United Nations. Switzerland is also a global leader in innovation, thanks to its world-class education system, solid research, and competitive innovation ecosystem. This is reflected in some world records and tech champions, such as the Solar Impulse, the first aircraft to circumnavigate the globe with no fuel, and Grimsel, the electric racing car that holds the world record for fastest acceleration, which was built by the AMZ student team. There has also been strong ties between China and Switzerland. Switzerland was the first Western country to establish diplomatic ties with China in 1950, and the free trade agreement was in force since 2014. A Sino-Swiss innovative strategic partnership was established in 2016. Now let's have a look at some rankings in terms of education, research, and innovation. Here we have the European Innovation Scoreboards released by the European Commission, which shows Switzerland as the overall innovation leader in Europe. On the global scale, Switzerland has been consistently ranked as the most innovative country for the past 11 years by the Global Innovation Index. In IMD's World Competitiveness Ranking, Switzerland has also been ranked #1 in 2021. And a key contributing factor is the scientific, technological, and educational infrastructure. Switzerland is also the leading country in the world on both IMD's and INSEAD's most recent talent rankings, thanks to its solid education system, apprenticeships, quality of life, and the ability to attract and retain highly skilled foreign personnel. In terms of R&D spending, Switzerland invests a large portion of its GDP into research and development, which forms the basis for strong innovation. Let's now take a look at the Swiss education system. Switzerland has a unique dual-track system that complements university degree courses with high-quality specialized vocational training. And thanks to this combination, young professionals with modest academic performance are also afforded opportunities to succeed and excel. Meanwhile, Switzerland is ranked by the Universitas 21 U21 as the best education system in Europe, while also topping the charts for the average quality of its universities. In Switzerland, there are 2 federal institutes of technology, Ethio Zurich and EPFL, 10 universities and 9 universities of applied sciences distributed all over the country and across the cantons and in linguistic regions. Here's the list of universities, the oldest of which was the University of Basel, founded in 1460, also making it one of the oldest universities in the world. And here we have a list of the universities of applied sciences. Switzerland has produced 27 Nobel Prize laureates, from Albert Einstein to Didier Queloz and Michel Mayor from University of Geneva, most recently awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics in 2019. The universities are extremely international, with almost half the professors coming from other countries. And finally, of course, extracurricular activities are an important part of student life, and studying in Switzerland affords you with many opportunities for cultural experiences and travel. So let's review some of the key advantages of studying in Switzerland, where you can benefit from an international and diverse atmosphere, safety and stability at the heart of Europe, a long academic tradition, world-class scientific and academic ecosystem, as well as a well-connected global network and the programs. Finally, I would like to briefly present our organization, SwissNext in China. SwissNext in China, the Science Council of Switzerland, was created in Shanghai over a decade ago, concurrent to the opening of the 2008 Beijing Olympics. Today, we're part of a larger SwissNext global network with 6 SwissNexts in Boston, San Francisco, Shanghai, Bangalore, Rio de Janeiro, and Osaka, and 20 science counselors around the globe. We support the mobility of talent, research collaboration, and exchange of expertise between Switzerland and the world. We have 3 main project areas: innovation and entrepreneurship, where we support Swiss startups and entrepreneurs with market internationalization, as well as Swiss corporations with innovation scouting. Officially representing Swiss public universities, our academic relations team supports academics, researchers, and Swiss university alumni in China. And last but not least, our science team supports interdisciplinary and transdisciplinary researchers, as well as artists. We organize regular offline, virtual, and hybrid public events on the Sino-Swiss education research and innovation landscape. And I invite you to follow or engage with us on social media or subscribe to our monthly newsletter. On this note, I would like to thank you for your attention, and I pass the floor back to my colleague, Li Bing. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan Li, for this comprehensive overview of the Swiss higher education, research, and innovation system. Now let's move on to the next session. In this session, you will hear presentations by high-profile representatives from 5 leading Swiss public universities. I'm honored to introduce our first speaker, Professor Andreas Hextron. He joined EPFL as Chair of Computational Mathematics and Simulation Science in 2013, and as Dean of the School of Basic Sciences since 2017. Now he serves as Provost to EPFL with responsibility for all academic affairs. Professor Hextron, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Let me see if I can get my slides going. There you go. Thank you. Good afternoon to China. Good morning to Switzerland. So I'll give a brief presentation of EPFL, and also at the end ask a few of the questions that I know potential students are thinking about when they think about coming to Switzerland. So to give you a sense of what EPFL is, so here's a picture of EPFL. You can see it has sort of the majority of the elements that a university would have. There's anything from a sports center. We have a convention center. In the center of the picture is basically EPFL, education research. And then on the right of the picture, you see what is called the Innovation Park, which is a place where students, professors can actually start and have small companies and get helped in the innovation space. And you will see that innovation is a key element of what EPFL tries to do. You should also know that EPFL is more than Lausanne. In fact, it has 4 what we call associate campuses, one in Geneva, one in Neuchâtel, one in Fribourg, and one in Sion. Each of the 4 have a particular focus. In Geneva, it's on neuroscience. In Neuchâtel, it's about microtechnique. This is where the watch industry is. Fribourg is about construction, and Sion is about energy. So one can do its studies in those different places if there is a particular interest, but all classes and all education in a class setting is done in Lausanne as the core campus. To give you a sense of what EPFL is, there's about 13,000 students at this point in time, including PhDs. It breaks down to about 6,500 undergraduates, maybe 2,500 to 3,000 master students, and then the rest of them being PhD students. As was already said, it's a very international community. There's more than 120 different nationalities among the students. And there's also a lot of international participation of professors coming from all over the world, either perhaps being Swiss but having spent a lot of time outside of Switzerland, or not being Swiss nationals. In fact, in the last 15 years, 80% of the professors we have hired are international hires. We're split into 5 schools and 2 colleges. So the focus of EPFL, as with Switzerland in general, in the educational sector, is education, research, and innovation. So let me give you a little bit of background. So on education, we very much focus on providing solid technical skills, knowing that your career and your development over life will likely change. So you would work in a variety of different areas in your life, and therefore having a fundamental training in the basics of your area is important, and is exactly what gives you the ability to change areas perhaps later in life. So there's a strong emphasis on learning by doing in a variety of different ways, where you work to construct rockets or robots or whatever it might be, and develop the skills like that. So it's a hands-on education, but founded in a strong foundation of your areas of interest. Make projects is one of the examples that I just mentioned. These are teams of students, 20, 25 students, that are working on a particular challenge. It's often associated with some kind of international competition. It can be building a rocket, or building the fastest solar-driven ship, or building a Mars rover, and then participating in an international competition. The latest one was the EPFL rocket team that actually won the competition in the US, the international competition. We also have electric race cars, and there's a number of different things, and these are all driven by the students working together with different skills in order to solve the challenge that are ahead of us. The Learn Center is a way of trying to understand how you can use technology, computers, manipulatives, and so on to foster learning, not only at university but also in schools. And MOOCs are a way of spreading the words and the learnings from EPFL into the globe. We have about 3 million people have followed courses from EPFL through the MOOCs program. In terms of research, we're split into about 360 laboratories. So these are basically teams headed by a professor in a particular area. And this is how things are organized at EPFL. And then we have a lot of particular centers focusing on energy, on transportation, on quantum science and engineering, on new materials, and so on, that one as a student can certainly also get involved in. Again, it's a very wide range of different research activities. There's a strong focus on interdisciplinary work. Here you can see an example of somebody who has lost the ability to walk, and therefore there's an effort on trying to build an exoskeleton for this person, so that she, in this case, can walk up and down stairs which would otherwise be entirely impossible. So this requires robotics, materials, but also knowledge about what is possible physiologically. So there's a lot of these kinds of interdisciplinary research activities at EPFL. It's something that we strengthen, because we believe that the activities, the problems we need to solve are very much solved between the disciplines. The three, we have 6 areas of particular emphasis: sustainability, neuroscience, you just saw an example, health science, fundamental sciences, so this is math, physics, chemistry, and computer science. Intelligent systems can be robots, and imaging. These are 6 core areas where we emphasize. And lastly, on innovation, we have a rich innovation set up every year. It's about 25 new startups that are coming out of EPFL, very often by students and professors doing it together. And this is where they then go into the innovation park and do things, take it to the next step. Skip this one. Finally, EPFL is a vibrant place. It's a fun place. There are music festivals. There are a range of different activities, particular for the students, arranged for the students and organized by the students, that make sure that EPFL is more than a university, it's a community. And finally, I just wanted to answer a few questions that some of you may have. So do you need to speak French to study at EPFL? The answer is no. After the bachelor's, everything is in English. All classes, all communication is in English. We have fellowships for master students. They're called excellence fellowships, so they're competitive, but we have them. Do you have to pay tuition? There's some tuition, but it's very low, about $1,500, in fact, $1,300 US a year. So it's a very low tuition. Nothing for PhD students. We don't have fellowships for PhD students because you get a salary. You're an employee, and you are paid for 4 years or more. So you get paid a very good salary, typically twice what they would pay in the US. And so what would you do next? Well, there are some links either to master students or to PhD students. If you're looking for a postdoctoral position, the best way is to look at the individual lab, the areas of interest that you have, and contact the professors and see what they have available. So with that, thank you very much for your time. And if you have questions to EPFL, then I will try and follow it in the chat and answer you to the best of my ability. So that should be it.
Thank you very much, Professor Hextron, for your presentation. Now let's welcome our next speaker, Professor Jean-Marc Triscon. Professor Triscon is Professor of Physics in the Department of Quantum Matter Physics at University of Geneva. He joined the university in 1996 and was the Dean of the Faculty of Sciences between 2007 and 2014. Since 2015, he serves as Vice President at the University of Geneva. Professor Triscon, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Liping, and good evening, China. It's also my pleasure to give you a short presentation on the University of Geneva. The University of Geneva is a historic university. You saw a slide before. It was created in 1559 by Jean Calvin. And it is a university which is today in the top 1% of the best universities in the world. The university is a public institution of the canton of Geneva. And as mentioned before, for EPFL, the fees are also very low. It's about $1,100 a year. And as you see here, the University of Geneva is very well ranked in your Shanghai ranking. The university is constantly evolving, with the world to meet the needs of the society and to look for the future. And it's also a very international university in a very international city. About 40% of our 19,000 students come from abroad. The University of Geneva is also a comprehensive university with 9 faculties where you can study science, medicine, humanities, social sciences, theology, law, economics and management, psychology and educational sciences, translation and interpreting. And we have also very many interdisciplinary centers. I will just mention the Center for Global Studies and the Center on Environmental Sciences, both touching global issues like climate change or the availability of fresh water, centers which work closely with United Nations agencies which are found in Geneva. We have quite many bachelor, master programs and PhD programs, 87 for the students. We also have executive education with, as you see here, over 350 lifelong learning programs for over 10,000 students. And also the University of Geneva is active on MOOCs. One particularity of the University of Geneva is that the campus is found in the city of Geneva. You see this on this picture here, you see the Lake Geneva, big fountain. You see on the left here an arrow which is pointing towards CERN, which is located on the border between France and Switzerland. The World Economic Forum is located here, and the United Nations in Geneva and United Nations agencies are in this area here. Now, the campus is found all over the city. You see here on the right, the Faculty of Medicine. You find here a big building which where you can find economics and management, the law school, social sciences, psychology, educational sciences. Sciences are along the Arve River in this area of the city. You find here the Institute for Global Studies and Environmental Studies. On this side, close to the UN organization, you have the campus biotech, which was mentioned by Professor Hextron, a campus which is shared with the EPFL. And in the center of the city, you see here what we call University Central, where you can find a lot of information for students and the administration, and here the historic building of Les Bastions in a beautiful park. The University of Geneva, the research field, I cannot obviously mention all the research field. It was mentioned earlier that we have a lot of activities in astronomy, and in Geneva we got in 2019 Michel Mayor and Didier Queloz got the Nobel Prize for Physics for the discovery of the first exoplanets. It's a very active research area in Geneva. Mathematics. We have in mathematics Stas Smirnov, who got the Fields Medal in 2010. And in 2014, a PhD student of the University of Geneva who was studying theoretical physics, very close to mathematics, received also the Fields Medal. A lot of activities in medicine, activities also important in humanities. I'm mentioning here digital humanities. There's a fantastic program of select digitalization of an amazing collection, the Martin Bodmer collection, very unique, that you find in Geneva with a strong research program. The Law Clinic, it's a program of the law school where this program is designed to help vulnerable people. Quantum cryptography, I'll come back to this in a second, a big program on SDGs with this, also this Geneva initiative. Let me, since I'm a physicist, one more word on quantum physics and technologies. I'm myself working on quantum materials. This is a very fast and very rapidly developing area all over in Switzerland with the field of quantum communication, which allows a secure transmission of information. And in Geneva, we have the largest private company, IDQ, working on quantum cryptography. Quantum materials, the idea is to go to materials by design, strong activities also in Geneva. Quantum sensing, a very fascinating area, also rapidly developing with sensor which is unprecedented sensitivity, and quantum computing with a lot of promises. And all these areas are developing all around Switzerland with ongoing collaborations between the different institutions. We have in Geneva 6 national research centers. These are Swiss network, one in mathematics, SwissMap, a project between mathematics and theoretical physics. Planet S, linked to exoplanets, working on the origin, evolution, characterization of planetary systems. A large program in chemical biology, visualization and control of biological processes using chemistry. Lives, overcoming vulnerability, life course perspectives. Synaptic basis of mental disease, bringing together brain research and psychiatry. And the last one, evolving language, bringing together linguistic philosophy, biology, neurosciences, psychology, and informatics. And for some of these large Swiss programs, Geneva is a host institution. For others, we participate to this network. This network are, in general, all around Switzerland, and are especially interesting for PhD students and postdocs, because they can discover and work with many other people in Switzerland. We have a global network, 450 plus cooperative agreements worldwide, and strategic partners. And as you see here, for China, we have a strategic partnership with Yonsei and Tsinghua. So it was a short overview of the University of Geneva. I hope it was useful, and I thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Hextron, for the presentation. Now, please allow me to introduce our next speaker, Andreas Hextron, Head of International Affairs in the Office of the President at Ethio Zurich. Before taking up his present position in 2008, he was project manager at ETH World, an ICT development program for education, research, and services. Anders, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Li-Bing. To begin, I would like to share with you a brief video presenting Ethio Zurich. So Li-Bing, please go ahead. So that was the entertaining version of Ethio Zurich, and now I will present you some more details, and I hope in a not too boring way. So you saw the central campus on the video where ETH was set up 166 years ago. Today we are a community of 30,000 individuals, and just as EPFL, a very, very international university. I think it's 122 nationalities at the moment. And the other campus, the traditional campus in downtown Zurich, and the other campus just south of the city on the hill towards the airport. Focus on engineering and science, engineering scientists, computer data science, construction, architecture and construction sciences, but also a strong focus on natural sciences, the fundamentals and the applied natural sciences and mathematics. And last but not least, and a rather new development for ETH, the focus on health sciences and technology. You saw in the introduction to Switzerland the bird's nest in Beijing. Perhaps you didn't know that two professors, ETH professors of architecture, Jacques Herzog and Pierre Demeron, are the architects behind this masterpiece of construction. A very strong focus, just as our colleagues at our sister institution EPFL, on fundamentals, on basic research, curiosity-driven, in artificial intelligence, in quantum science and engineering, personalized medicine, translational research, and the most recent addition to our fundamental research center, the Center for Origin and Prevalence of Life, which is now headed by Nobel laureate Michelo. In education, we also put a very strong focus on the foundations, on the scientific foundations, mathematics and physics, but equally giving our students the ability and skills and competencies needed for their professional lives. So a focus on critical and creative thinking, extracurricular opportunities, makerspaces, student entrepreneurship center, and of course also some fun outside of the program. But there is, and to be honest, education or the degree programs are at Ethio Zurich are demanding and tough. We offer 23 bachelor's, 48 master's programs. Bachelor's programs are in German, and the master's programs, with one or two exceptions, are taught in English. So a strong scientific foundation combined with the ability to apply the theory and practice. A large international community, but also a large Chinese community. We have now over 1,000 Chinese nationals in our among our student body, about 600 Chinese master students and 400 in the PhD programs. In tuition fees, we have the same fee structure as EPFL and Geneva, so the fees are modest. It's 800 Swiss francs per semester, translating into 11,000 yuan renminbi per year. The same fee applies to all students, Swiss and international students. So everyone pays the same modest fee. In terms of scholarship programs for master students, we have an excellent scholarship at opportunity program that covers the full cost of tuition and cost of living for the duration of the program. The admission prerequisites for master's programs is a bachelor's degree in a qualifying subject, good grades. We can't say the average GPA required. It depends on the program and the year. And some programs are more competitive than others. Robotics, data science are among the most competitive programs in our master's portfolio. English proficiency, obviously level C1, and we also require a GRE general test for most programs. The application period to apply for the master's programs is now. It opened a couple of days ago, and you need to submit your application online by the 15th of December at the latest. On the PhD level, we have a large PhD doctoral student population of 4,300 currently. international, 72% international doctoral students, focusing on their PhD project, independent scientific work, but also engaging in service activities within the research group and within the department, supervising students and helping the research group carry out their work. The doctoral students are employed as research assistants, so the funding is secured that way. Compared with our competition in many other countries, there is no tuition fee, which is of course a huge advantage for doctoral students. They pay an examination fee of 1,500 Swiss francs at the end of their 4 years before they take the final exam. To conclude this Einstein Day, I would like, or this virtual Einstein Day, I would like to share with you what we have developed in terms of a virtual Einstein. Our computer scientists, visual computing, animation artists, artificial intelligence experts have developed a virtual Einstein. And I have a brief clip here showing our president, Joël Mézot, in conversation with Albert Einstein.
Do you know where we are?
Let me have a look. This place seems familiar to me. Is this Zurich?
Yes, this is the Polytechnicum. Now it's called ETH.
Oh, what a coincidence. I've spent many years studying and teaching at ETH. Tell me, are you a student or a teacher?
I am the president.
Ah, I am sorry to hear. To be president of anything is a dismal task. So much responsibility and so little time to study or explore freely. Do you agree?
It is not so bad.
I will stop here and thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Anders, for the interesting presentation. Now I'm glad to introduce Professor Roderick Lim. In 2009, he was appointed Argovia Professor for Nanobiology at the Biocentrum and the Swiss Nanoscience Institute, University of Basel. His lab studies biological nanomachines and explores how their functional properties can be leveraged towards bio-inspired applications. Professor Lim, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you so much, Liping. A very good evening to everybody in China. I just want to welcome everybody to the oldest university in Switzerland. And just to introduce the University of Basel, we are a full university with 7 faculties. We have a student population of about 13,000, out of which 3,100 are international students, and most of those would be PhD students. And the faculties that we include are theology, law, medicine, humanities, and social sciences, science, business and economics, psychology, and others. And so as you can tell from my chart, the largest faculties are medicine, humanities, and social science, and science. But nevertheless, all of us enjoy one thing, as you can see in my slide, and that is the annual Rhine swim that we all take part every once a year. Okay, so while we are not the largest university in Switzerland, I did say that we are the oldest. And what we lack in numbers, we make up for in the quality of our education, research, innovation, and culture, which has spanned the centuries. And just to give you a flavor, our notable alumni and faculty include Jacques Dubochet, for instance, who won the 2017 Nobel Prize in Chemistry for developing cryo-electron microscopy for high-resolution biomolecular determination. Michael Hall, who discovered the target of rapamycin, or TOR, which regulates cell growth, proliferation, motility, survival, protein synthesis, autophagy, and transcription. And Michael Hall received the 2017 Lasker Award and the 2014 Breakthrough Prize. Then Christoph Gerber was the co-inventor of the atomic force microscope, which I know a lot about. And that essentially opened the doors to the nano world, and Christoph received the 2016 Kavli Prize. And then as one more example, Professor Daniel Loss developed the theory of electron spin dynamics and coherence with strong applications in quantum computing. And he received the 2017 King Faisal Prize. Now, there are several more important discoveries that have been made by several people, and I just don't have time to go through them all, but this has spanned several centuries, starting from Erasmus, Paracelsus, all the way in the 15th century, all the way till today. Okay, so where are we? So Basel lies at the heart of Europe, at the corner where Northwest Switzerland meets Germany and France. And so there's no question that we are highly connected and ideally positioned, being just about an hour by flight when we can fly freely. Well, we do fly freely now, away from most European universities. Now, over the years, the University of Basel has invested heavily in cutting-edge research infrastructure to build up a life science campus. And just to give you an idea what this campus looks like, we are all located in the same vicinity. You start at the top with the physics department, chemistry. There's the Swiss Nanoscience Institute next door. Behind that, there's the Biozentrum, which is this tall tower. And I am talking to you from this corner office, indicated by this arrow over here. Next door to us, there will be the new Department of Biomedicine. Already existing is the Pharmacentrum, and right next to that, there is the Department of Biosystem Science and Engineering, which is a department of the Ethio Zurich. And to finish this organization of our life science campus, we have the University Children's Hospital and the University Hospital right across the road from that. Okay. So just to give you a flavor of our strategic research program, I want to introduce what we call National Centers for Competence and Research. And these are NCCRs, which involve large amounts of federal funding to support 12-year consortia-based programs. Okay, and the NCCRs are important because they promote long-term research networks in areas of strategic importance with the following key criteria. First of all, the research programs have to be outstanding and with internationally visible research. It involves, a lot of support for knowledge and technology transfer, and also the promotion of women. So in total, there have been 7 NCCRs that have been established at the University of Basel, some of which include nanoscale science, molecular systems engineering, anti-resist, and spin. And I will take the opportunity, just a couple of minutes, just to explain to you a little bit about what each of these NCCRs involve. So in terms of NCCR resist, what we are trying to do at the Biozentrum is to develop new approaches to combat antibiotic-resistant bacteria. As you all know, this is a major problem in the world today. And this is a Swiss-wide network, including biologists, clinicians, and engineers who want to catalyze a paradigm shift in infection biology and antibiotic research. The next NCCR is what we call molecular systems engineering. And what its goal is to do is to harness chemistry and biology for new to nature function. Okay, so that would involve engineering bio-inspired molecular factories by combining chemical and biological molecules, such as to form artificial organelles, and then to be able to apply those artificial organelles back into a body to be able to control the health of a patient, for instance, okay? So the molecular systems engineering captures the complexity and emergent properties prevalent in biology. So NCCR spin involves the development of quantum computation in silicon. And I can't say that I'm expert in this field, but nevertheless, it's a very important endeavor to be able to develop a spin quantum computer in silicon and or germanium. And this consists of an interdisciplinary team from quantum physics, material science, engineering, and computer science. Okay, I'm speeding up here. So, and then if all these different NCCRs are not enough, at the University of Basel, we also have the Swiss Nanoscience Institute, which is a highly interdisciplinary network of major research organizations, all located in northwestern Switzerland. And here you can see several of them that are involved with us. And basically, the Swiss Nanoscience Institute wants to promote the research and training in nanosciences and nanotechnology, as well as the know-how and knowledge transfer to industry. Okay, so last but not least, I just wanted to say it is not surprising then that there are approximately 600 life science companies in Basel, and together we create a unique life science ecosystem. So this brings me to my last slide, where I just want to announce that our University of Basel, several of our departments have PhD fellowships, and you are very, very welcome to join us. So, Huan Ying, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Lin. Now let's welcome our next speaker, Professor Harold Gao, Dean of the Faculty of Business, Economics, and Informatics, Professor of Software Engineering in Department of Informatics, University of Zurich. Together with him, we also have Ms. Sedef Beiser, International Scholars Advisor, who will be answering your questions concerning non-academic issues at University of Zurich, as well as on Live in Zurich. Now I will hand over to Professor Gao for the presentation. Professor Gao, you have the floor.
So thank you very much for this nice introduction, and heartily welcome from the University of Zurich. Can you see my slides? Good. University of Zurich is one part of the hub in the city of Zurich, where Zurich as such stands for finance, it stands for banking, but it more and more also stands for technology. Together with ETH and the University of Zurich, we have a great ecosystem for studying in various aspects here. So I'd like to point out a few things because of the Einstein Day. Einstein actually did this PhD at the University of Zurich in 1905. He was the first professorship here in 1909 before he went on to places such as ETH, of course, and then other places such as Princeton. Was his last station, and he received the Nobel Prize in 1921. So the University of Zurich is proud that we have like in total 12 Nobel laureates and 1 Fields Medal winner amongst us. And I'm the Dean of the Faculty of Business, Economics, and Informatics, and like taking an angle from this perspective, representing, so to speak, the more finance hub of this very environment here. We have almost 30,000 students. We are the largest comprehensive university or full university over here with 130 degree programs across 7 faculties. The faculties range very similar to what we've heard from other full universities here in the introduction series. It consists of arts and humanities, law, sciences, medicine, and of course, economics, which I'm representing here. As such, we're happy to be top ranked and very research intensive, but that comes as no surprise, I guess, following the introductions we've seen from the many colleagues and the top institutions. Our department of economics in my faculty is ranked first in the German-speaking countries and the top 20 world institution. You see the rankings over here. We've seen many maps of Switzerland, so I guess you're familiar now where Zurich is located, and it's also top in terms of living, quality of living over here, with the lake and the beautiful scenery, and also the architecture surrounded by hills. In business and economics, I'd like to give you a glimpse onto the master programs. As such, they're also representative about the subject that we teach in, let's say, all the levels in my faculty. in the bachelor level, the master level, and the PhD. So you see kind of the expertise areas that we claim to have as a faculty in educating students. We have a Master of Arts, Business and Economics that focuses on banking and finance. By no surprise for that, we have a lot of outreach to the local industry in the banking and the finance area. There's many big industries over here in Zurich, but also in partner universities over here. We do a lot of business administration in terms of Master of Arts, where you can focus in various aspects, digital transformation, for example, digital marketing and various other forms. And we do economics in the master, so you select one of these 4 that you see over here, and you can also do management and economics, where you combine the both of 2 worlds in one master study. This is one pillar on the business and economic side. The other pillar on the right side of the slide is in informatics. It's on artificial intelligence. It's on data science, so topics that are close to my heart, for example, being a software engineer. And information systems, people running computing, that goes a lot with human-computer interaction, user experience, user adventure and journeys, and user interfaces. And software system as such, of course, is a cross-cutting aspect, because these serve also a lot the business and the economics and the finance studies. So you can cross-cut, and show you this on this next slide. We have a special Master of Science between University of Zurich and the Ethio Zurich, and this is on quantitative finance. So it's a lot about mathematical aspects of finance and financial models and econometrics in that sense. So asset management being one of it, corporate finance, financial analytics, advanced banking, or sustainable finance, a very recent and newly established field in terms of expertise and educational programs. In terms of mix and match, so to speak, and this is the 2 tables, but how you should read them is you would be able to specialize in some of these areas, irrespective whether you start economics, so that's the column, or whether you study informatics, you'll be able to specialize in one of these areas. And this gives you probably also a very nice flavor of where you can, dive deeper into some of the more special areas, like University of Zurich is big in accounting and finance, for example, in managing education and educational programs. So if you're interested in that aspect of personnel economics, so that this is something where you can actually pick more special courses and get a profile education in that. And of course, behavioral economics, which is worldwide known for our research group in that field, that is also reaching out to areas like neuroeconomics or neuroscience combined with economics, where we look at the effects of decision-making and observe those with MRIs and computer tomography. In the area of, let's say, to the right of the slide, you see aspects of corporate finance, for example, combined with data science, informatics, and banking. So I'm not going to throw all of them, but that should give you a flavor, like a menu, where you could deepen your knowledge on the master's level. In terms of research highlights, I'd like to pick up a few very recent ones. So as the financial center of Switzerland in Zurich, it is very important to talk about regulatory aspects of the financial markets. For that, we have what's called the Research Priority Program at the University of Zurich, where we look into financial regulations, their effect, their usefulness, applicability, but also the way, to which extent do we need financial regulation, where does it make sense, and where does overregulation start, but where can we also control the financial markets, which can be quite volatile, as we have understood from the recent crisis analysis. Another area of expertise where we also have, let's say, a competence center and a priority program is the area of management. And in that, also the question of bonuses for high profile leaders in the field, in big companies, corporations. So the question is, what is an appropriate bonus model for managers? How can you put that into financial terms? How can you put that into economic terms? But how can you put that also in psychological terms? How can you balance these various aspects of bonuses from a leader's perspective, but also from a corporate perspective, from a shareholder's perspective, but also from a public perspective? And for that, we have people like Robert Gökser look into these questions in management and economics and business administration flavors. Another area that's been mentioned in some other form is in drone research. So the drone lab that we have over here at the University of Zurich features on drones flying by camera, not by GPS, but by camera, so that these drones can enter areas that are not covered by signals of GPS, or even in areas where there's damage, for example, after earthquakes, or in situations where you have to rescue people in suburban fields. For that, I think we have a very interesting drone lab, and they also feature high-speed drones and drone races. And with these high-speed drones, it is very interesting to see how we can deliver aspects, how we can deliver goods with these drones, for example, for medical supplies, medicine, medications, from hospital to labs, from labs to other labs. So there's something where in the city of Zurich, we have examples of drones actually flying on routes, drone routes, like little airplanes, that have their schedules over here that help supply the hospitals and the labs, for example, with blood samples or medication. In this drone setting, it is also interesting to mention that these AI-driven drones, they can outperform the best human drone pilot in terms of speed in a predetermined race field. So that's something also maybe interesting to look at. There's nice videos if you Google for it. In economics, and there's many aspects to it. I talked about behavioral economics as one of the features over here. Development economics is another one, but also taxation and climate in this sense is something that's now been also featured, of course, in the big discussions of the politicians. Now they meet, as we all know, in Glasgow for the climate summit. And the question is, do we need a climate tax? What kind of tax is appropriate? And one of the studies from Ernst Fehr, who is one of our major behavioral economists over here, they look at what needs to be taxed in terms of a climate tax setting, for example, even meat. And we know all that from the emissions and the impact on carbon emissions that meat and the production of meat has. So you see kind of flavors of these studies over here from economics, business, finance, and informatics. That's basically was a glimpse on the University of Zurich from the Faculty of Science, from Faculty of Business Economics and Informatics, where we have the other sciences faculties and arts and humanities, law and medicine as well in the field, just to give you one slice of the university. We'll be happy to answer questions in the Q&A afterwards. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Gao, for the presentation. Now let's move on to the next session with testimonials from accomplished alumni. First, let's welcome Professor Jiandong Feng, tenure track professor, Department of Chemistry from Zhejiang University. He is alumnus experience at EPFL. Professor Feng, the floor is yours.
Hello. Hi, Li Bing. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Thank you very much for the introduction and for the opportunity to introduce EPFL here. And my name is Jiandong Feng. And can you go to my slides? The first one. Okay. And first, I would like to briefly introduce myself. So I started engineering, but received my bachelor's degree in chemistry from Zhejiang University. So then I went to Switzerland to pursue my PhD, and also I did a short postdoc at EPFL. That was from 2013, 2018. In 2018, I came back to China and became a professor at Zhejiang University. And this is about my education and also my working experience. And there are 3 reasons why I would like to recommend to go to Switzerland for pursuing your PhD or doing a postdoc. Can you go to the next slides? Thank you. Okay, so there, from science side, I think Switzerland is a great place to do science because there are a lot of research resources that you can get during your PhD. And you can get also a lot of collaboration opportunities. So this is really a great place to train your independent PR, do your own research, to explore yourself. A second reason is the nature. So Switzerland is a very beautiful country, and with many beautiful mountains and lakes. So you can explore the nature also here. Well, the last reason, but not the least, is life. And also due to the nature, you can also get a very beautiful life after doing science. I remember that after working day at EPFL, so we usually went to the satellite. It's a bar inside of the EPFL campus with our colleagues in the lab mates, and we can go for beer time. So that was a really relaxed style of life, and you can balance your work and also your life. So I think it's really a great place to do a PhD or postdoc. So that's why I recommend you to go to Switzerland for your studies. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Feng, for the insights. Now I'd like to invite Dr. Binglu Huang, co-founder and the tech lead at CellX, alumni of University of Basel, to introduce her research and life in Basel. Dr. Huang, you have the floor.
Yeah, thanks for the introduction, and it's really a great pleasure to join this.
Sorry, Dr. Huang, we can hear a very strong echo.
Okay.
Could you double check, maybe?
I didn't do something else. Is that fine now still?
Yeah, there is still an echo. Maybe you can try to mute, then unmute again. Or do you have like another device logging?
Sorry, is that good now?
No, it's the same.
But sorry. Maybe I have a connection.
Huh?
Sorry, is that good now?
Yeah, it's there's still an echo. So maybe could you please log off and log in again? And then we will just move on to the next speaker. Then once you are back, we will give you the floor. Okay?
Okay. Yeah,
okay. Yeah, see you shortly. Let's welcome Ms. Xueying Mao, Chief Representative, RQ Micro AG China Rep Office. She is Ethio Zurich alumni. Now, Xueying, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. My name is Xueying. I'm here today to share with you the top reasons why I think ETH or Switzerland in general is a good place to go if you are considering to pursue a higher degree abroad. First of all, Switzerland has a very stable social and geopolitical environment, which helps you to focus on your study and to give your parents peace of mind. Besides, Switzerland has a very supportive ecosystem for innovation and entrepreneurship. Every year, many PhD students graduated from ETH, founded their own startups, and received great support via coaching and funding programs. So if you have a clear goal in academia, or if you have strong passion for a certain research field, or if you want one day to translate your research outcomes into products, then ETH is definitely the place for you. If at the same time you are proactive, persistent, and focused, if you have a strong core competence and pioneering spirit, then congratulations. You already have the qualities that I see in most of my classmates from ETH. Next page, please. And then the next one. Last but not least, the strong alumni network is another asset that will bring you lifelong benefits. By organizing online and offline events, the ETH Alumni Shanghai chapter helps our alumni to stay connected and to share. Last weekend, we had our autumn gathering. We had Swiss cheese at lunch, visited the Osmanthus Garden in Shanghai. More than 20 alumni from various career backgrounds participated and had lots of fun. Next page, please. My name is Xue Ying. I'm proud to be an ETH alumna. Maybe one day I will also see you as ETH alumni here in Shanghai. If you have any questions for me, feel free to find and get connected with me on LinkedIn. I will be happy to stay in touch. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Xue Ying. Now let's move on to our next alumna, who is Miss Feng Ling, Protocol and Events Coordinator, Consulate General of Canada in Shanghai. She's an alumni from University of Geneva. Miss Ling, you have the floor. Miss Ling, can you hear us? We cannot hear you. So how about Caitlin? Caitlin, are you there?
Yes, I'm
Caitlin,
here.
yeah, would you mind take over
Yeah,
and start your presentation now? So we will go directly to the testimonial from Caitlin, who is Enhanced Due Diligence Investigator at PayPal, and she's alumni of University of Zurich. So Caitlin, please, you have the floor.
Hello everyone, I'm Caitlin, and it's very honored to be here as an alumni representative of University of Zurich. And it's back to this beautiful scenery and peaceful life and high quality education in Switzerland. As the fellow mentioned before, I would like to talk more about my feelings and my growth and my sentiments after I graduated from University of Zurich. I know that most of the audience today is just at the similar age as me, roughly from 25 to 30s. And at this period of time, we always feel very confused about our lives. I remember one professor told me that when you feel unclear about the orientation beyond, the importance is to observe your peers and the surroundings. So from my observations, in this school, the students are in such a comprehensive university as UTH. No doubt they are very hardworking and tenacious on their own fields. No matter how, no matter if the major is profitable in the business world, they always believe in that and persisting on it. They slow down their steps and live a life to see how they can gradually practice and improve it. So we can see on my PowerPoint, the left side, can it be shown on the screen now? Yeah, and you can slide, yeah. We can see Shares launch at the left side. Unfortunately, it was moved out due to pandemic at present, but I remember that when the first day I entered to the school, my mentor told me that it symbolizes how our life and career built on the former generations and their achievements. But actually in our real study life, it's just a cozy places for us to take a nap between the lunch break or class interval. So at that time, I recognized that good things always take time, and we really need a rest on our way to grow up. To the middle pictures, you can see that I climbed on a mountain. So thanks for this school, thanks for the activities held by the school, I became outdoor activities lover. Now I still climb mountains, and I also did yogas or meditation in small forests. And it's perhaps not too much to say, I kind of find inner peace there. And surprisingly, it can be coalesced to form a coherent behavior, and we so-called it's a worldview that approves always come from within. So to end with my small talk today, I highly recommend you could spend your most confused times in Switzerland. Of course, in University of Zurich is your best choice. Not only we will also held very inclusive events, alumni events, but also I'm sure that your learning journey will create a ripple effect. It will begins with you and add it to your families and friends, and ultimately to your nation, even to your world. And I just received an email from my company and told me that it's today is not only the Einstein Day, but also the Fast of Lights. So I wish all the Swiss and Chinese friends happy Diwali Day, and I wish you will be the light of yourself after you graduate from University of Zurich. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Caitlin, for the sharing. Now, Dr. Huang, can you hear us? Maybe can you try to talk to the mic again?
Hello.
Yeah, now, yeah, it's good now. So we will quickly share your slides.
Yeah. Sorry for the inconvenience.
No worries. No worries. Just a second. We will share share your slides. Okay, so we go to the content right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah. Could you please go to next slide? So hello everyone. It's a great pleasure to join this event. Thanks for organizing this. And so I will start with a very brief introduction. I went to Switzerland, Basel in 2014 after I finished my PhD from Tsinghua University. At that time, I was a postdoc in Roy Lam's group, who just gave an introduction of University of Basel. And then after 4 years experience there, I came back to China, and now I'm a co-founder and the tech lead of a startup, CellX, working on the cultivated meat. Looking at all my previous experience, I would consider this 4-year experience in Switzerland is really a very great and special memory. And I'm really grateful that I chose Switzerland for my abroad experience. So why would I say that? I think I summarized for 3 reasons. Next slide, please. So the first is, first very important one is the advanced education system, as you already seen this evening. That the Swiss universities are really historical, and the research focus and also the technologies are really state to art. And the second great thing is the working environment. I would consider it is really very professional and also quite efficient. For example, in BioCenter, there are so many facilities that to help you to work with your research, work really efficiently. And the last and also but not the least is that about the leisure time in Switzerland. As you may say, that the beautiful landscape in Switzerland is great for both the sightseeing and also the other activities. And also there are so many different cultural events all over the year. So I think Switzerland is really a great option for not only study, but also work. Yeah, that's my sharing. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Huang, for your talk. Now let's move on to Ms. Feng Ling, Protocol and Events Coordinator, Consulate General of Canada in Shanghai, alumni of University of Geneva. Feng Ling, can you hear us? Ms. Ling, can you hear us? Well, we still cannot hear you. So in this case, due to time constraints, we will have to move on to the next session, which is the open Q&A. So thanks to our speakers, we've already basically covered all the questions in the Q&A box. So to our audience, if you still have some doubts, some questions, some information you want to know from these 5 universities, just feel free to leave it in the Q&A box. And I noticed that during the exchanges, a lot of students, they are asking like scholarship opportunities for them, like at master level or at PhD level. So in this sense, may I ask the first question to all our speakers, like what are the main channels for the Chinese students to get the latest information about the scholarship opportunities? Yeah, may I ask? Please.
I can start. So several students asked the question. I provided the link. So what you have to do is to go to the EPFL website on master programs, and you will see there's something called Excellence Fellowships. And this is what you can apply for. So when you apply for admission to the program of interest, you have to indicate whether you also want to be considered for an Excellence Fellowship. And then there is a process. This has nothing to do with your nationality or whether you come from China or anywhere else. This is entirely merit-based. But all the information should be online.
Okay. Thank you. How about the other universities? Anders?
The same applies at ETH. So everyone is competing on the same line. In addition to the full scholarship, the Excellence Scholarship Program, we also offer, or many of our departments offer, a departmental scholarship for their master's programs. And this covers 2/3 of the full cost, combined with the possibility of earning the remaining third through to a teaching assistantship. There's the full scholarship, Excellence Scholarship, and the departmental scholarships on top of that. And you apply in the same process as you apply to the master's programs.
Thank you. Then how about University of Geneva?
Regarding the University of Geneva, I think the best is also to go to the website and check. I think it depends very much where you want to go for your master. You have excellence fellowships in science, but it's not everywhere. And I would like to remind something which has been mentioned. If you want to apply for a PhD, you are paid. So then you're becoming, an employee with a salary, and so this is not anymore an issue.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Professor Hextron. Then Professor Lin, could you share with us some information about Basel?
Yes, absolutely. So thanks. So maybe I rushed through my last slide, but I just wanted to say that at the University of Basel, particularly in the Faculty of Natural Science, we offer several PhD fellowships, whether they could be departmental fellowships or thematic research-based fellowships. And their information is all listed on the Faculty of Natural Science webpage, which I have a link to. So what I will do is, I will send you my slides, Liping, and then if you could share this with all the students who are interested, that would be great. Just to say quickly that the kind of topics that we offer PhD fellowships in are extremely competitive. So it's a worldwide fellowship. So at the Bute Centrum, for instance, we offer PhD fellowships twice a year, and it's extremely competitive. So, but it doesn't matter where you come from. It's all merit-based, I should say. So we also have PhD programs in infection biology, biomedicine, nanoscience, pharmaceutical science, quantum computing, and technology. So I will forward you all the relevant information with the links included.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Professor Lin. Then for University of Zurich, maybe Weiser or Professor Gao can.
I can add to that. I think the models are pretty similar across the universities with the excellence scholarships. There's one additional, it's called the Swiss Government Excellence Scholarship. That is for those who have studied a master's or even a doctorate degree to come to Switzerland from all over the world. That's even, let's say, a competition level of on the Swiss government side, where you can get such scholarships. In terms of the PhD, I think it's important to note that once you're basically hired for a PhD, so that you're employed at the university, as many other institutions, this is most mentioned already, for a very reasonable salary. So there's no scholarship in a sense at the University of Zurich, but this employment option that once you're given a position for a PhD study, you're typically employed if this is on the table.
Okay. And Baisa, do you have Ms. Baisa, do you have anything to add?
No, everything important is already said, and I shared the link for the Swiss government excellence scholarships.
Okay. So I think a lot of people are asking, like, since the programs of the PhD programs opportunities are highly competitive for all the universities. So a lot of attendees, they are asking, like, if you could share more information about the evaluation criteria, like the number of research papers or the level of language. So any specific factors, any insights that you could share with the potential applicants?
So I can start again. So as I've answered in the chat, in terms of language, we don't require a particular certificate, but we do require that you have a high level of proficiency in writing as well as speaking. It is not enough to be able to understand English. You need to be able to communicate effectively in English. And this is very important. If you are not able to do this, you will not be successful at EPFL. So this is number one. In terms of the specific criteria, we don't have specific criteria globally. This is something that depends on the program, on the committee, on the year, as was already mentioned, the pool. So we're not counting papers and things like this, but we are looking at your background in the particular area of research that you wish to pursue. So there's nothing, I'm not going to give you a list to cross because this is not how we assess you. We assess you one at a time individually based on what your experiences are and what your merit qualifications seem to be.
Okay, thank you, Professor Hextron. And how about the other universities? And do other guest speakers have something to add at this point, or would that be more or less the same as EPFL for the evaluation process? Professor Gao, please.
Yeah, just in terms of business and finance and economics, if you're coming for a subject field that's different from that, you would have to bring a GMAT or GRE to the table that be assessed in addition, that just make sure you are at the appropriate level. And in the rest of the assessment, it's as said from speakers already, it's by a dossier per person where we look at the individual case if the person is equipped. But language issues are key in an oral and written form. It's very key, although there might not be a certain level put out, but it's not only recommended, it's needed to be successful. Yes.
Thank you, Professor Gao.
Maybe I can add for the University of Geneva that okay, it's rather similar. Maybe one more thing: if you want to start a PhD, you should in fact contact the professor you want to where you want to join the team directly. This is the best way to do, and then there will be an evaluation by the person. And I should also apologize because I really have to leave you now. So thank you very much to everyone, and thank you to my colleagues, and thank you, Liping, for the organization.
Thank you very much for your precious time. Thank you very much. And have a nice day to you. So I think this would be the last question, also due to time constraints. So please feel free to add your comments in this respect. Professor Lin?
Yeah, so thanks. So I just wanted to echo everything that everybody else said, but also I think what's really important, I don't think it's not field dependent, right? It doesn't depend on the discipline, but it's really important when you apply for these fellowships, you need to do your homework. You need to know the institute, the organization that you're applying to. If this is based on some sort of thematic program, you need to know what the thematic program is about. And so you need to make yourself knowledgeable about what, what the institute or what the organization is looking for. And basically, I would say that language is important. English is very, very important. That's something that, that you want to make sure that, people understand what you're trying to say during the interview process, for instance, that you write well as well. So I'd say communication is key, but also knowledge and skills all play a key factor in your applications.
Thank you very much for these insights. Anyone else would like to add something? Anders, please.
If I may, we have emphasized that it is not necessary to have knowledge of German or French to apply to the programs that are taught in English. But once students are here, we do strongly encourage you to learn German. Zurich is in the German part of Switzerland, because then you also understand what's going on around you in society, and you get more out of your stay in Switzerland. Maybe also later on, if you want to stay for your professional career in Switzerland, then knowing the local language is an important competence.
Thank you very much. I just see
this is certainly also true for EPFL.
Yeah, of course, it would be a plus for both the personal life and also for professional career. Then I just see another question, and if you still have time, maybe this is for University of Zurich. It's very specific. Do I need to submit GMAT score if I want to apply for the master program of University of Zurich with data science major and banking and finance minor?
Well, for the informatics, it's more the GRE, the GMAT, yes. But I can post the link to it for the details. There's a lot of details in there, depending on what background you bring with you. We look at the individual case and see what needs to be supplied.
Okay, thank you very much. So thank you to all the guests for staying with us in the past 90 minutes. So due to time constraints, we'll have to end the Q&A session. A great appreciation to all our speakers for your available time and for your helpful information and deep insights. So to our audience, if you still have some questions, please send them to the email address on this slide. We will forward them to our speakers and give their feedback to you. You are also more than welcome to scan the QR code and follow us on our social media. Thank you indeed for your active participation, and we look forward to meeting you in our next events. Thank you once again.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a nice day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all. Have a nice evening. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.